The next morning, Max decided it was time to address the physical security of his emperor. Leo needed bodyguards, and he needed to see violence controlled, not just street brawls. They went to the ludus of the Valeria, a gladiator school on the edge of the city. The training ground was a pit of sand and sweat. Dozens of men practiced with wooden swords, the air filled with grunts, the clack of timber, and the smell of testosterone. "Keep your shield up, you idiot," a voice roared. A woman strode across the sand. She was tall, with fiery red hair tied back in a thick braid. She wore a simple tunic that did little to hide her athletic, muscular frame. She kicked a sluggish trainee into the mud with practiced ease. "That," Sylvia whispered to Max, "is Valeria, the daughter of the late General Valerius. She runs this place. She has a temper worse than Mount Vesuvius." Max stepped forward. "Lady Valeria, I am looking to hire. I'm not selling," Valeria snapped without looking at him. "My men are fighters, not house pets for rich merchants who want to look tough." "I don't want pets," Max said calmly. "I want the best." Before Valeria could reply, a man stepped out from the shadows of the portico. He was handsome in a cruel, predatory way, with a thin scar running down his left cheek. He moved with the grace of a panther. "The best?" the man sneered. "Then you are looking at me." "This is Cassius," Valeria said, her voice softening slightly. "My champion, the best sword in Rome." Cassius looked Max up and down, sneering at his foreign clothes. "You look soft, stranger. Like a man who pays others to do his fighting." "Like a woman." Max saw Leo shrinking back behind him. He felt the eyes of the gladiators on him. This was a test. If he backed down, he lost respect. If he lost respect, he lost Rome. "I fight my own battles," Max said coolly. "Prove it." Cassius threw a weighted wooden training sword at Max's feet. "First blood. If you win, you get your pick of my men for free. If I win, I take that pretty gold belt of yours. And the boy carries my armor." The gladiators gathered around, forming a circle. Helena, dark hair in a bun, who had followed Max to the ludus out of curiosity, watched with bated breath from the gallery. Max picked up the wooden sword. It was unbalanced, heavy, clumsy. He tossed it aside. "I don't need that," Max said, raising his fists in a modern combat stance. The crowd laughed. "A man fighting the champion of Rome with bare hands? Suicide." Cassius grinned, cruel and confident. He lunged, swinging the wooden blade at Max's head with enough force to crack a skull. Max didn't block. He moved. He ducked under the swing, the wind of the blade ruffling his hair. He stepped in close, into the danger zone. Close quarters combat. He checked Cassius's sword arm with his left forearm, delivered a sharp palm strike to the solar plexus that folded the gladiator in half, and then swept his leg. Cassius crashed into the sand face first. Before Cassius could scramble up, Max was on him. He applied a joint lock to Cassius's arm, forcing his face into the dirt. "Yield," Max whispered. "Never," Cassius roared, trying to buck him off. Max applied a fraction more pressure. "I said yield, or I break it." "I yield," Cassius screamed. Silence fell over the arena. Absolute, stunned silence. Max stood up, releasing the gladiator. He wasn't even breathing hard. He looked at the crowd. Speed beats power. Technique beats strength. Always. Valeria stared at Max, her mouth slightly open, a flush rising on her cheeks. Helena looked at him with a mix of awe and suspicion. And Cassius looked up from the sand, nursing his arm. His eyes were burning with a cold, venomous hatred. Max knew, in that moment, he hadn't just won a bet. He had made an enemy for life. "Who are you?" Valeria asked, her voice trembling with excitement. "I'm just a tutor," Max said, pulling a stunned Leo forward. "And this is Gaius Octavius. Remember the name." The victory at the ludus brought Max notoriety, but notoriety in Rome was a double-edged sword. That evening, as Max applied a salve to a bruise on his arm, Cassius had been faster than he looked. Sylvia entered the room. She looked grim. "You made a mistake today," she said, leaning against the doorframe. "I won," Max replied. "We have bodyguards now. Valeria gave us 2 of her best Thracians." "You humiliated Cassius," Sylvia said. "Cassius is not just a gladiator. He is owned by Mark Antony." Max paused. Mark Antony, Marcus Antonius, Caesar's right-hand man, the brilliant general, the drunkard, the lover of Cleopatra. And in this timeline, the man most likely to seize power if Octavian wasn't ready. "Antony won't care about a training brawl," Max said, though he wasn't sure. "He will if Cassius whispers in his ear," Sylvia warned. "Cassius is ambitious. He wants to be more than a slave. He wants a command. He will tell Antony that a mysterious stranger is training a boy who looks like the dead heir. Max walked to the window. The sun was setting over Rome, painting the sky in blood and gold. He realized Sylvia was right. He had been playing checkers while Rome was playing chess. Then we need to move faster, Max said. Leo is not ready. He will never be ready, Sylvia said. He is a thief. He is an actor, Max corrected. And I am the director. Tomorrow we stop training the body. Tomorrow we train the mind. We are going to the Senate. You can't just walk into the Senate, Sylvia laughed. I can if I have the right friends, Max smiled. Flavius owes me a favor for the pizza. And Helena knows things. We need to know who killed the real Octavian. It was a storm, Max. Was it? Max turned, his eyes cold. A ship sinks. The heir dies. And suddenly, Antony is the only successor to Caesar. In my line of work, we don't call that a coincidence. We call that a loose end. Max picked up a stylus and a wax tablet. He began to write a list of names. Mark Antony, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius, the Gladiator. The game has started, Sylvia, Max said. And we are already behind.